Hello everybody, welcome to UKGK TV. My name's Dave Nicholson. I've got two lovely people here today. If you attend the UKGK shows, you'll see them there. It's Andy.
Hello.
And Barry.
Hiya.
How you doing, guys? You good?
Yes, thank you.
Very well,
Thanks for coming
Dave.
today.
No problem.
Just a bit about yourselves. How did you guys meet?
Well, we both used to write model reviews for a quarterly publication, I think it was, wasn't it?
It was indeed,
Sci-Fi
yeah.
and Fantasy Modeler, published by Mike Rayshare.
Yeah.
And that ran for 10, 15 years.
Probably closer
That
to
was
15,
a modelling.
yeah.
That's a modelling magazine.
That was
That's
a modelling
right, yeah.
magazine.
That's
so,
a proper newsstand one, isn't it?
well, no, the original iteration, sorry, Barry.
No.
The original version used to be a newsstand magazine, and then they went to a slightly more elaborate publishing schedule, which meant it was a thicker publication.
Right.
It was 12, 13, 14 quid
Along
a
those
copy,
lines, yeah.
and it went to a quarterly.
Right.
But it covered an element of professional special effects.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I just have. Go on.
Go on. I thought you were.
No.
thought you were making fun of the wig again.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's-
left it in the car. Haven't I? No, it was a quarterly. It covered a certain amount of professional special effects work.
That's right.
And
And idiots like us.
and then idiots like him and professionals like me reviewing kits. Sorry about that.
So
That's right, all right.
let's get this right, Andy. You
Yes.
reviewed the kits, and Barry paints them.
Well,
No,
we worked individually. I didn't meet Barry till about 2 or 3 years after I'd worked for the magazine.
Right.
And we both used to go to the same comic shop in Manchester to buy comics, which I don't apologise for because I still do occasionally. And I happened to mention to a mutual acquaintance that we were both working for the magazine, the quarterly, which was sold through Forbidden Planet as it was.
That's
then.
right.
Is that the comic shop?
That was the comic shop.
Yeah.
And I said that I'm still working for this publication. And the chap in the shop said, "Oh, Barry Ford's in somewhere. He writes for it as well." And that was the first
That
time we
was
met.
it.
Yeah,
and the rest
that
is
was
history.
fate.
And the rest
Yeah,
is history.
that's
We've
it.
been close as very close things ever since.
Everybody
Yeah.
sees these guys at the show with the lovely Beth, don't they? You
Of
got your
course.
partner. So,
That's right.
so keep your eyes open for them, guys.
Stop calling him Lovely Beth. That's lovely.
That's
Barry.
evenings and weekends, Andy.
That's evening. Weekends.
Let's just clarify this.
Yeah.
Are you both painters, or is there one sort of
Oh, we both paint.
preferences
Yeah.
to the other?
We both paint. We both make models.
Do you sculpt, both of you? I know you
Yeah.
sculpt because you're going to go on
Yeah.
to shortly.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you
I,
buy?
I would say what I do is more like kit bashing. So it's a case of I will take an existing model and turn it into something else rather than start something
Is
from
that
scratch.
vis-a-vis the joke you
That's
have to
right.
show us? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So where do you get your information from with that?
I mean, it just comes out of my warped and twisted mind, Dave, for most of the time.
Now I've got a bit of a conflict of interest in here. I commissioned Barry to sculpt something for me a long time ago, and it was brilliant. There's just one problem with it. It was just too good. The guy that I used to do my casting years ago looked at it and went, "I can't do anything with that." But the good news, and Barry's not heard this until today, we now are going to move forward and get it into production. So you will
Right,
see
hey,
that.
hey.
You will see that. You will see that. You know what I'm talking about.
I do indeed, yes. Do you want me to give the secret
You
away?
can, give it away, yeah.
Many, many moons ago, and when we actually worked out when it was actually more moons ago than we thought it was.
It was when comedy was funny, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah, those days. Yeah, when Andy had hair.
No, that was 1957.
And Dave very kindly asked me to prepare a model of the Martian War Machine
That was
from the Jeff Wayne album cover.
That was it, yeah.
And it's a fantastic piece of artwork, which, little piece of trivia here, the painting and the design for it was done by a gentleman called Mike Trim. Mike Trim was one of the designers and model makers on the Jerry Anderson productions from Thunderbirds through UFO.
Which is going to tie into what you fetched today.
Yeah. Hey, I come
Not
in.
prepared at all,
No, segues away. And so anyway, I started working on this, and whilst it's a beautiful piece of artwork, I looked at it, and I mean, as is what my want, and going, I could do something more than that.
You
and
did.
I could,
You did.
So at the time, steampunk was a very big thing. I don't think it's quite as popular as it is these days, but at the time, I mean, at the time, Andy and I were producing articles for the steampunk modeler specials, of which there were three. And anyway, so I came up with a steampunk version of it, which was quite elaborate. Looked at it and went, it looks nice, but God only knows how Dave's going to
And that's basically what he said. He goes, there you go, Dave. There you go. Don't know what you're going to do with it, but there you go. And I went, it looks great. So anyway, just to tell the viewers out there, we have now got the facility to do that sort of thing. So we are looking at doing it now. And we're going to have metal rods and stuff. So I'll go into that at a later on. I'll get him back in and we'll hopefully see it. What about your sculpting capabilities, Andy?
Well, I've been pushing clay around since I was a kid, mainly because I wasn't supposed to have anything sharp when I was smaller. So I started with plasticine, and then probably about 20 odd years ago, came across sort of professional clays and was using Sculpey. And then I attended the first of your UK garage show.
Did you actually turn up, or did you have a table? Was it?
No, we
took a table.
We took a table
because this was the golf course, wasn't it?
Oh, how long ago was that?
14 years ago it must be, and the incredibly surreal experience of sat there at your table looking out over the golf course and seeing Darth Vader and the stormtroopers wandering over the greens.
It wasn't as surreal for us as it was for the golfers, because it was in quite a posh bit of Cheshire.
It was,
and they'd obviously they weren't quite dressed in +4s and the rest of it, but the expression on these fellas' faces was priceless.
It was funny. The reason it went there is because I looked after the guy when I was working as a nurse, and he said, we were unsure about the show, so he said, "You've my golf course, you can have it, and if you make any money, just give us some money." And I was like, "Oh, can't refuse that, can I?" And then we were in the middle of Cheshire in this £8 million golf. It's £8 million that was worth.
I can imagine. No, it was a very, very splendid venue.
Wow, it was very, very nice, but wasn't quite practical enough, was it?
Anyway,
going forward, guys, you've attended the show regular. Now,
every year, pretty much. So.
You're there basically regulars.
When did you do the first one? Date-wise?
That was it.
No, what year was it?
Crikey, I've been asleep since then, mate. I can't remember that.
But we're talking, 10 years ago?
No, it's close to 14.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 15 years ago. Yeah. And we never stay in the same place.
No, I'd noticed that.
That's it. And we still find you, Dave.
Well, I was going to say, it has been suggested that you were trying to avoid us. But...
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, we did do that. And you're there this year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we are, because I've been speaking to you about certain projects you've been doing, because you've been harangued into doing something by people. People have looked at it and gone, that's really good. I like that, including myself.
I was going to say, why don't you, including yourself, being harangued by other people?
Do you want to?
It ties in with the history of the shows,
right.
If I may. If I can grab a prop from over there.
Which particular?
Well,
prop would you like?
all of them, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Because, sorry, this isn't very professional, is it? But I'm not very professional at this stage. When I first started attending the shows with Barry and saw other people's skills at sculpting stuff, I realised that my abilities were limited in comparison. But I'd had an idea, which was to take a film poster, a specific film poster, and produce elements of it in 3D.
Right.
And the poster was the one for the Roger Corman Mask of the Red Death, starring Vincent Price. And I suggested to one of the eminent sculptors that was at the show.
That was Ken, wasn't it?
I think it was Ken.
Yeah, Ken Jones.
That it would be something that he could tackle. And he was quite enthused about it, but he'd obviously got other things on his mind and didn't know me from Adam, so it went by the board. By the time a couple of years had rolled around, I'd decided that I'd probably got the skill to make a stab at it myself. So I did the first of these as a direct result of attending your show at the golf course in Crewe. So this is not going to show on camera, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? So what I'd done, I shall lean a bit closer, was a 3D print of the... In case you're wondering what the twitches are, we've got a blue bottle or something, and occasionally one of us gives it a winger. A winger. See what I did there? Fly. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the idea.
So are you going to have, this is going to be cast as a plaque?
That's the idea for the sort of second generation. Brilliant. The artwork was done, the original illustration was done by a chap called Reynold Brown, or possibly Reynold Brown. He spells Reynold with a Y in it. So anyway, for the sake of argument, let's call him Reynold Brown. And he also did the poster for this classic, which is actually quite good fun. I'm not taking the mickey out of it.
That's
and
great,
again, the 3D element is the mantis, some of the background stuff, and so on and so forth.
You're going to have the letter set
raised. That will all be cast as well.
Yeah.
But I did these for my own entertainment initially.
Yeah.
And then did another, I think this was another Roger Corman one, which was the oblong box, based on a Vincent Price, sorry, an Edgar Allan Poe story. And again, it's a three-dimensional element. But I did these for my own entertainment initially, and then somebody said, why don't we sort of go into production a little bit?
I think they're great, don't you?
Absolutely amazing.
I think they're really good.
But then I was...
So it's going to... Let me just... Before you walk to the next one. So this is going to be, guys, this is going to be in resin, and you're going to be able to hang it on the wall, and it's going to be... The letter's going to be resin? Rose?
Well, the lettering will be raised or etched depending on what sort of... whether it's black or whether it's white.
So it gives you an idea.
If you can imagine old-fashioned printing plates, where the printing surface was raised above the surface of the plate, that will be the sort of effect you get there, with the illustration element done as a sculpt.
So you're going to get we're going to get this frame on.
Possibly all part of the same piece of
so
resin.
We're going to get this frame, and then they just paint it and hang it on the wall,
absolutely.
just like that.
They'll throw it in the bin.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's the case. They're lovely, they are.
Well, they're going in the bin later.
And then the last one we've got, which is my personal favourite.
Well, Dave then said, "Can you do?"
This has got to be the best one.
Oh, I like the
It is a
Vincent
corker.
Price
I think this is the best one.
one. Can I do
look
one for
at that.
Jaws, you see? So
How good's that?
that is the poster. Let's just take the blindingly obvious. The shark is a sculpt. Well, it's modelled in
shark's
clay.
raised.
So
3D,
the shark is 3D. The lady swimming above is also 3D. I suppose you could say the muncher, being the shark, and the munchee are both raised above the surface.
Are you going to be having the letter in?
Well, the lettering again will be raised above the surface of the thing,
so that,
and
so
then
that
you
the
can.
customer can paint it. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That is
So-
that is great.
I know you're
That
quite
is
fond
really
of
good. I
that.
mean, it's a great job of Bruce there. I know there's a lot of Jaws fans out there because obviously we've just done them busts, but that's superb. Nicely painted as well. Isn't
Oh,
it?
thank you.
It is indeed.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Are you going to be getting all this lot in?
Well, yes,
bit here.
we can render that all in 3D. I mean, it won't be a huge depth to the type because the plate manufacturers
You've got the
have got bubbles. That's what I was saying to you before.
You've got bubbles on
Well,
it.
people will probably need to add their own bubbles and water effects, but using the sort of scenic water stuff that you can buy,
that.
it's a piece of
Beautiful
cake.
piece.
And it's not the end of the world if the bubbles don't go in, to be honest. Because
And it's basically how big would you have to say that is?
that's 8x6 the frame.
8x6. Are they all the same sort of
Yeah,
size?
I've done them all at the same size.
Nice.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Watch the space for this, guys. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think Andy should do, if he should do any more. I think it's a great idea. I think they should
Hope
go into
nobody I
production.
know's watching.
I think they should go into production. I think we should at least try and get these out there because it's
Absolutely.
something different. I mean, it's a good idea to get them on the wall. That's good, that is, mate. I think
Thank
you
you very
did a
much.
Job of that.
No, that's a fantastic
Don't you
paint
think?
job on the Jaws. No, that's brilliant.
Oh,
I think that's
Yeah.
a really, really, real nice piece.
you
That.
could turn a girl's head if you're not careful.
So going forward,
Yes.
if they did go into production, what sort of things are you looking at doing going forward? What ideas did you have?
Well, the first three I did because, well, the first one was the Vincent Price, which was just an idea that popped out of the ether. The second one, which was the Mantis one, was a fairly obvious follow-on because it was the same artist, this Reynold Brown chap who'd done the illustration. And then I thought, well, a third one would be on the stock. So, as I say, initially for my own entertainment, and that one was a little bit different in style.
Christopher Lee.
Absolutely, it's not a startling film to tell you the truth, but well, it's not. But it's okay.
Great cast.
And it's got Mad Vince in it, and what more can you ask for?
Exactly.
So, in terms of doing other subjects, I'm not a great sculptor of the human anatomy. I mean, I will do figures, but I find it very time consuming, and I know there are people who are a lot better at it than I am. So I tend to pick subjects that I can do reasonably easily. I think it's called cheating in the trade. But no, it's picking your targets, isn't it? Exactly. There's no point in trying to do the Mona Lisa if you've only just started.
Your strengths, don't you? Play to your strengths.
Play to your strengths, indeed. So at some point, something else will occur, and I have several books with film posters in, which I can thumb through and see if there's anything that's suitable.
I mean, let us know, guys, on the comments below what you like, whether you like these. I'm pretty sure they're going to be popular, and give him some ideas. You know what I mean?
But if any of them involve opening the Red Sea or feeding the 5,000, keep them to yourselves. These.
Now we're going to go over to Barry. Now Barry is a bit of a he's a bit of a good painter, if I'm honest.
That's very kind of you, Dave.
He's an excellent painter. You do commissions for people?
I do, but not very often. I will do, but time prevents me from doing as much as I'd like to.
You never get what it's worth, do you?
Exactly. I mean, and this is a big problem, Dave. I mean, a prime example was a number of years ago that I actually made a model of the mole from Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And this was a commercial kit that I built and painted and weathered and the like. And I put it up for sale. And I think it was something like £75 I was asking for it. And this guy responded to me and going, £75? That's a rip-off. And to which I explained to the gentleman that, well, hang on a minute, it cost me £40 for the base kit. And then there's the paint, there's the glue, and about 37.5 hours of my time. So at 50p an hour, can you tell me how this is a rip-off?
So basically, let's get this right. You paid £40 for a kit.
Yeah.
And charged 70?
75, yeah.
And that was a rip-off?
Yeah.
Wow.
And truth be told, it's that kind of attitude.
So how did you respond to that?
Well, as I say, it's I mean, he promptly disappeared into whatever corner of the Ethernet that he he came from.
Barry, you always get that.
Exactly, and so I will do commissions, but as long as people are serious and they understand what's involved with it.
Because we've all got a little tree in the garden that we go out and pick them off. We don't pay for it.
No, well, this is it. Yeah.
So it's a rip-off, Barry.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was just me.
Did you want to show us a few?
Yeah, I mean...
We're just talking about a Joker. Yeah. Have a look at this. Now, this, I think this is great.
Do you want to change positions?
No, it's fine.
Over the years, I mean, obviously, been doing garage kits since late 80s, early 90s kind of thing. And so, you practice and you do different things. And you get to a point going, well, I've seen it, been there, done it, worn the T-shirt. I'd like to start trying to do something a bit different and something a bit more unique, shall we say. And this is why I don't tend to do a lot of spaceships and stuff like that, because there's an awful lot of very, very talented people out there who can do the Starship Enterprise to perfection, but it looks like the Starship Enterprise, and there's no uniqueness, no personality to it. So in more recent years, I've tried to do something that's a bit different, and something I can say is mine. So anyway, I had this bizarre idea after seeing a picture of Willem Dafoe. I'm going, he would make an absolute cracking Joker. You go, he's born to play this part. But you go, because of his age, it's probably never going to happen. But let's make it happen in 3D.
Have a look at this, guys. This is fantastic.
So this is, there we go.
So what's the origin of that?
So this, Andy and I were talking in the car on the way over. This is the Billiken Joker kit.
Yep.
The old Jack Nicholson one. And then the head is from Hot Toys.
Oh, Hot Toys.
The action, the very detailed action figures. And obviously, there is now a big market for people customising these things, not just buying them and sticking on the shelves. People will customise them, and so you can get lots of 1/6 scale accessories.
Definitely.
And so I found the.
So that's your original, what you'd call a kit bash.
That's right.
Now let me just explain this, guys. Kit bashing, if it's for yourself, that's perfectly cool. Barry's not selling these, mass produced.
Absolutely not.
So for all these guys, this is a perfectly good project.
This is a one-off for my own personal use, and
love it.
So it was the Defoe head, and obviously altered the coat so that it's got long tails. That was a product called Warbler, which is a thermoplastic.
Yeah.
So it's like a sheet, like plasticard.
Yeah.
But you heat it up and it'll conform to whatever shape you want.
I'd never heard of that before.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No.
And it's cracking. I actually did the hat out of it as well.
Wow.
So I got a former for the hat, and then, like we were talking about, effectively the equivalent of vac forming without the vacuum there.
I must find some of that.
It's just good, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, it's
all
belting
sorts
stuff for doing things like that. So
Does it come in different thicknesses?
it comes in different grades. And the finer the grade, the less it will conform to shape. So there's a very coarse grade which I used for the hat,
Right.
and you can probably see that there's some dimples and the like on that. And that's a very coarse grade, but it's
I love it. It's nice.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah.
but you can
Painting's excellent, isn't it?
you
absolutely.
conform it well to shape. And then there's a medium grade, which is what I use for the coat flap,
Right.
which again has got a little bit of texture on it.
But if you're using it for fabrics, that's what you want, isn't it? A little bit of texture.
Yeah. And they do a clear version, which is very smooth, and I use that for the turn-ups on the trousers. But I only used it for the turn-ups on the trousers because you can't manipulate it.
So what's this called again?
Warbler, Worbla.
There you go.
Yeah.
Worth knowing.
Live and learn.
So
Lovely piece, mate. Next up.
thank you. So next up, seeing you and Bill have been talking about the
Bill's going to love this.
the Star Race Ray Harryhausen kits.
How good is that?
That's
I thought
astonishing.
we would bring in the
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
So there we are the Cyclops. Thank you. There we go.
And the paint on that.
First glimpse of that, it was when I decided to retire, basically. I thought, well,
Painting.
anything, basically. I'm going to top that.
That is excellent.
So yeah, so that
That
was.
just goes to show just how good that kit is when you
I
get
mean,
decent paint on it.
It
That's
is.
lovely.
I mean, the kit itself is a fantastic.
Oh,
it's so
fantastic.
well engineered.
Is that the one with the eye that you can move?
Yes, I mean.
What, you move the eye?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you can
So,
move
the eye.
I mean, you can't on this one because I glued it in position, but you can remove the mouthpiece, and then you can actually manipulate the eye if you want to, so it could look
Stunning
wherever. you
piece,
want.
mate.
Thank you.
That's astonishing.
Have
So
you got many of them, Barry? Have you got many of the Star Race films?
I've got a couple of them yet to do. When I'll get round to them. Goodness only knows, but yeah. So that's the intention.
Fantastic piece, mate. Now.
Going back to
It
what
wouldn't
is
be
probably-
Barry without his Thunderbird.
No,
would it?
I
It
mean,
wouldn't be Barry.
to be fair, Thunderbirds has always been my first love. You know,
Sorry, Barry.
yeah,
Sorry.
sorry,
Do
you know,
apologise. Do apologise.
if it's tossed between you and Thunderbird 2,
we should point out that
There may be a domestic couple.
exactly.
well, no, it probably would point out for those who have lost interest by this point that the love of Barry's life is sat opposite, out of camera shot, but fixing him with the steely gaze
exactly.
when he makes remarks.
She's got
like
idiot
that.
boards. Tell her
Yeah,
That's
what to
it.
say, hasn't
Shut
she?
up, shut up.
Yeah, she's got idiot boards.
Don't
yeah.
mention the war and things like that.
So this is a kit going back to, again, the early 90s, and it was a Japanese resin kit based on Scott Tracy. And
Fantastic.
I made it many years ago, sat on the shelf for donkey's years, and I thought a couple of years ago,
Nice that, isn't it?
let's give it a new paint
Got a
job.
massive following on it.
Incredible.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
particularly in Japan. It's amazing, they love it over
I'd
there.
like to let you into a little secret, Barry.
Go on.
I hope nobody's watching this. There's a UK sculptor that has been commissioned, thanks to me, to do Jerry Anderson stuff. And do you want me to tell you what the first one is?
It's not the Troy Tempest one, is it?
UFO.
Oh.
And they're going to be licensed.
Do you mean the vehicles or the characters?
Characters.
Well, the characters were real people, weren't they, in UFO?
Yeah. Ooh.
Watch this space, guys.
should be fun.
Exclusive. Barry will be there first.
Exactly. First
Next
in the
one,
queue.
mate.
Right. So again, talking about doing something different. So again, and I do like to challenge myself. So this is a 1/10 scale bust of Autumn. Now, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the work of Alphonse Mucha.
No.
He was...
Look at that. Look at how he's painted that apple.
Mucha was...
That's like. I mean, I go to the military shows.
Yeah.
And the miniature the detail there is phenomenal.
Indeed.
Really good, isn't it?
Oh, no,
I
it's
think I
good.
may as well pack it in now. Shall we
Well,
just
we
go?
can-
Shall we just go, mate?
Absolutely.
I think the pub's open.
Is it really? Christ almighty, it is.
Move
Can I
quick-
just borrow that from you? Give me know while you're speaking
Yeah,
so I can...
yeah,
have a
by
look
all
rather
means.
than-
Yeah.
Look at the fruit on it. Though.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
look
it's-
how-
yeah.
I mean, then you just paint it yellow and orange, wouldn't you, and all that sort of reason. Not, he's put the
I don't think I would, darling. No,
Yeah,
no,
Luca
no, it is
was an Art
astonishing.
Nouveau artist,
Right.
turn of the century.
excellent, that.
And whilst it's not shall we say, it's inspired by
Yeah.
his artwork rather than being a direct replica.
Brilliant.
So that
Very,
was
very
that was
good.
fun to do.
This one looks interesting, mate.
Now, again, this is another one from Japan, but more recent. And again, in terms of
Is that a
experimenting,
print, I'm guessing?
I don't know. It came to me as a resin kit.
Yeah.
But I suspect that it
What's
will...
What's your opinion on the prints? Are they any good, do you reckon? Is it the future? Is it not the future? What do you reckon? It's got a place on it.
I think it will have a place because...
It's like styrene, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I think this is what 3D printing is going to be what gets people into the hobby these days,
amazing.
youngsters. Because I mean, we've all grown up with resin cast.
Yeah.
But over the last few years, I've had various eye issues, and when I've not been able to
Yeah.
model, I've been watching YouTube, and there is an awful lot of people out there who've clearly sort of like got into 3D printing from doing the Warhammer type
Yeah.
stuff because they want to build an army quickly.
Yeah.
But then gone, hang on a minute, I could do something bigger and something more interesting. So I see that as the future. And again, different subject matter to what we're used to because they're going to be into their computer games, the
It's
anime,
just-
the manga.
Yeah, it's just a policing that's difficult.
Exactly. And, and again, I mean, if you go
That's
onto
it,
eBay, you
it's full
see,
of it, innit?
I mean, it's positively scary, and I wouldn't touch any of it with a barge pole. But if you
Really
can
is something else.
get the original STL file that you've paid
Yeah.
for from the sculptor,
Yeah.
you print it off
Bang
for your
on,
own
Barry.
use.
Bang on.
Bang
on, mate.
absolutely
There's
fantastic.
some fantastic 3D sculptures.
Oh,
out there,
incredible. And that one, I experimented with fluorescent paints, and what you won't pick up so much in the studio light here is that when you put a UV light on that,
Yeah.
you get some incredible effects. And
On that?
yeah, on that, I posted it on the
Page.
Facebook page.
Oh, right,
So
brilliant.
have a look.
Check it out, guys. Check it out.
It actually looks like she's on fire. The body's on fire.
Which Facebook page is it on?
UKGK.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's also on my own as well. So if you find it easy.
Funnily enough, I was looking at yours this
So
morning.
what do you
I didn't
think?
notice it.
What do you think of the future, guys? Are we gonna? I mean, I know we're sort of mature, shall we say? Do
But
you
some
think
of
it's
us are
going-
reasonably immature as well.
Yeah. Do you think it's going
Saying a
strong?
word.
Well,
Pardon?
the hobby's going strong, or do you think it's taking a bit of a hit with the Noosters, or what do you reckon?
I think it's going strong. I mean, the concern obviously is that generations die off. Some of us sooner than others,
Yeah.
and the hobby dwindles. But if you attend the shows, there seem to be a great many young people interested.
We try and encourage them.
Well,
see.
I know you do, and I'll strengthen you for that. I mean, it's like the Airfix people doing their make and take thing, which they do at Telford and so on and so forth. But even if you go to the less high profile shows, there seem to be a great many young people there, and I think the thing is still moving on. But I mean, in terms of gauging the health or otherwise of the hobby, you're in a better position than anybody else because your sales will reflect how it's going. I mean, if they're going down year on year, obviously there's a problem. If they're remaining steady or possibly increasing, as I hope they are,
It's difficult because we're at a funny stage of the hobby, as we say, with the 3D stuff coming in. Obviously, I always look at people, if they just want a Batman, they'll buy any old Batman.
Yeah.
But I look at it as...
cue for song.
Yeah.
To the tune of any old iron. of
Yeah,
course.
but I look at it as it's vinyl and downloads. People always, to me, the 3D stuff is amazing and it's fantastic, and we couldn't possibly get to some of the levels that are there, but it's mass production moved to your home, innit? Whereas the things we're looking at here,
Are craft items. They are limited run items.
No, that's a fair point. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
part of it has
Yeah.
got has got its own part in the hobby. Like styrene, like vinyls, like resins, like 3D. Everything's integral to what we're doing. It's just we all know about the policing. We don't
Yeah.
need to go on about that again, but we all know about the policing of it, and that's not 3D printing. That's the people that are doing it.
I mean,
We've
the
always
thing-
had that, haven't we?
Well, I mean, we've always had that, not just in the hobby, but in whatever medium.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I mean, the minute somebody brought out the cassette tape recorder,
Yes.
everybody was
Yes,
copying
exactly.
their records on
Exactly.
And you had people recasting from
yes.
resin stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
from day
yes,
one.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some
Absolutely.
people would argue that you've got to give them more merit because it takes more work to do in a traditional recast. Then we're getting silly then, whereas
Yeah,
you just press a
absolutely.
button. So that's the argument I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's easier to recast by pressing a button. I guess it is.
Yeah.
I suppose the bottom line is whose intellectual property is it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, that's another video in it.
Well, yeah. But I mean, if somebody, for instance, did a knockoff of Barry's Joker figure there, that would be the wrong thing to do because it is, despite it containing various constituent parts, it is a Barry original.
It's not cricket, is it?
It isn't cricket.
No, we've got to basically
Shall
look at
we?
it.
Will our overseas viewers understand the
No,
reference?
they won't understand that.
Yeah.
You can't-
Sorry, I'm not
Oh,
being patronising, but it's a local expression.
It is, and basically, normally our overseas viewers can't understand us anyway, so it doesn't matter unless you go into your traditional voices. Do you
Unless,
know?
unless it's the accent.
Yeah.
Could do James Mason
Go
for
on,
the
do
closing.
you're dying to
I'm
do
not
it.
doing
Go
it.
on.
No, I'm upset. I used to get paid for doing that anyway. Believe it or not.
So going forward,
Yes,
guys,
darling.
you're going to be at show.
We will.
You're going to be at
Yeah.
the show.
Oh,
Looking
yes.
forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Do you know Manchester Model Shop? I've got to ask you this.
Of course, I mean, yeah.
Do you know Manchester Model Shop? Deansgate?
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
as was.
absolutely.
Des?
Yes.
Big shout out to Des.
Hi,
Hello,
Des.
Des.
Yes, Des
I hope
is
you're
probably
watching.
responsible for corrupting an
Funnily
awful lot
enough,
of us.
Yeah.
There's a connection. We talked about how where Barry and I first met via the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modeler magazine. The connection there is that I used to build stuff for their window displays.
Manchester Models.
For Manchester Model Shop. The Model Shop, as it was known then.
Yeah.
When Des was one of the managers.
He's an absolute
He's a
legend.
star.
Oh,
He's a legend.
And I built a Starship Enterprise. Now, I can't remember which iteration, whether it was the next generation or one of the others. And Mike Ratier, who published Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modeler, saw the model in the window and said to Des,
Yeah.
could do with somebody who can build to that standard, forgive the arrogance, who can build to that standard to contribute to this magazine that we are republishing. The trouble is, none of them can write. And Des said, well, actually, he works for an advertising agency as a copywriter. And that's how I met up with
Do you know
Mike.
what Des's
And
name
then I
is?
met
Yeah.
Barry.
Do you know
and-
what Des's name is?
Des
Yeah.
Discount.
Ron
Desborough.
Yeah.
Not
No.
Des.
No,
Oh,
it's
no,
wrong.
no,
It's wrong. Yeah, I mean, this came to a shock to most people.
I think it was only last year that I realised his name wasn't actually
Ronald
Des.
Desborough.
Yeah, Des
How cool is
Desborough.
that?
Yeah, is it?
I always up Des, and it's like
I mean, everyone knows him as Des. Well,
Yeah.
it was Des that got me into writing for the magazine because I've been a regular customer for more years than I care to remember, kind of thing. I mean, Mum had not long passed away, and Des was very supportive, and
It's
thank
good,
you for
though.
Des
He's a
for
good
that.
guy, isn't he?
Oh, he's a star.
And
yeah.
I went in one day, and he said, "Have you ever thought about writing any articles?" And I went, "No." And he said, "Well, Mike, who publishes the magazine's looking for people. Why don't you give it a go?" And the rest is history, so to speak.
So if you're watching this, Des, well done, mate.
And there's no commission involved.
No,
Sorry.
no commission. Get off that bike and get yourself to the show and have a pint with these lads. Well, it's
Just
been
don't
lovely-
wear the lycra, please.
Really?
Not again. Oh, I'd only just got that out of my mind.
Well, we won't get on to cycling.
All right.
so-
No.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll try and get these guys back in again. Bill's going to collar them at the show. It's been great. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.